Tonight, the opposition political parties suspend series of demonstrations and issues 1 week ultimatum to eminent advisory committee to get the EC to back down on its decision to compile a new voters register or face your wrath.
The NDC together with the other parties now, they form coalition. We will suspend our demonstration and wait on the eminent personalities, traditional authorities. Evans Mensah and then the commission.
We assess the impact of the latest in the series of demonstrations that hit the Ashanti regional capital today.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion, also brought to you by Gasem Cement, the nation builder, and Vodafone. The future is exciting. Ready.
The NDC together with the other parties now, they form coalition. And the civil society for now. We will suspend our demonstration and wait on the eminent personalities, traditional authorities.
Well, that is the big announcement from the chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, today on behalf of the Inter-Party Resistance Against a New Voters Register. At the end of today's demonstration in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, and it was that Yempene, they are calling off, suspending the scheduled series of protests to get the EC to back down on its plans to carry out an exercise to compile a new voters register. In fact, they want the eminent advisory committee to get the EC to carry out its directive to consult further on the matter. And that is why they are suspending what they had planned to be a series of demonstrations across the country. Hundreds of protesters today joined the Inter-Party Resistance Against a New Voters Register to hit the streets in Kumasi, clad in red, armbands and shirts, led by leaders of the NDC, APC, PNC, among others. They held placards, some of which read, "Pay striking teachers, don't waste the money on needless register, and Nanado, we still need more hospitals," etc. They simply called for action, while they said they were ready to get the inter-party, the advisory committee set up by the Electoral Commission to get the EC to act on this matter. Let's listen to some of Ofosu-Ampofo who has been speaking today.
Of consciousness, but he is elected president, and everybody must
register. And when you say the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. And in the Juma, at the referendum, at the assembly election, now you say, but if you are the one, Mumma fed one day, and to a bano, Nayanko Fat Yapofra, ever yen knew the Hunsin Sasua, yen you so bitter, now you knew how I develop your. And what you say, the timing is also not good for us. Ne Krakrano, Yatotasra and 24. Yane eminent groups now. Electoral Commission Frankasa, Ati Wamnakasa. Electoral Commission, Evans Mensah, is not prepared to engage the political parties on the IPAC platform. But and then press conference, any radio so and on Nam Eka Nasen. Yabati Akacha said, give Dr. Kodia Farijan, everything Charlotte says, everything Nosuno. IPAC and the political parties have worked in harmony to drive our democracy and our electoral system to where we are today. And he has said, only the voice of reason. No man na yɛnhwɛ ne yɛbɛtumi aboa na ɔman no afa no adwuma papa afira sɛdeɛ yɛn nyinaa kyekyerɛkyerɛ yɛadwen ɛma referendum no yɛka no ana na Akufo-Addo ɛdrɔpo no saa nso na yɛn nyinaa ka bom aka kyerɛ wɔn sɛ sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ ɔman bɛfa no adwuma papa afira ɛnti new register ne yɛnyɛ dɛ yɛmpene yɛkɔ nɔɔfa ɔmo sɛ toko sae new register no toko sae yɛba ha nso a new register no yɛmpene na ɛba sɛ nkɔmu nso a new register no nso baamu yada toko sae yɛmpene yɛma me Evans Mensah ɔntie she must listen to reason common sense na ɔntie mpanyifoɔ na yɛmfa nyɛ adwuma na ɔman Ghana asomdwe mbra mu.
So that is some of us for there. Tawit is making the allegations against the Electoral Commission that the Electoral Commission's chairperson, Evans Mensah, is not interested in consulting the political parties, but they are resolved to resist the decision of the EC to compile a new voters register, and that he also makes the announcement their intention to suspend what had been planned to be a series of protests across the country, while they give an opportunity to the advisory committee that the EC itself set up, chaired by Mr. Justice Emil Short, to try and get the Electoral Commission to consult further on the matter and address the concerns they have. You know, the EC has already indicated its decision is a final one, and that the consultations that they'll be doing is to inform the various stakeholders. In fact, they had described it as a done deal. But Tamale Central MP Inusa Fuseni says all opponents of the EC's decision must resist the commission, even if it will cost them their lives.
Well, I'm totally satisfied that the people of Kumasi have bought in to our resistance of the wasteful and needless expenditure of the Electoral Commission to compile a new register. We believe that we have a new register. We have a register, a credible register, and that register has produced 2 presidents. That register has produced 6 regions. That register has produced assemblymen. That register has produced unit committee members. And that register will produce the next president of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama.
The EC seems to still be adamant. It looks like it's still going ahead with this plan. What does that make of your demonstration?
I've told you before, and I'm telling you again, that when institutions of state refuse to listen to the people, what the people must want them to do, what the people think that they must do, the people have a right to resist them and even sacrifice, if possible die, to prove that point.
I want to take you live now to the Ashanti Regional Capital, where my colleague Erastus Saridonko has all day been following the protesters. Joins us on the telephone line right now. There were many who feared, Erastus, that something could go wrong with this particular protest, especially in the atmosphere. It was being held pretty charged on this subject of voters register. What were the highlights of this protest today?
Well, so the organizers were expecting 20,000 strong demonstrators. I think they got over 6,000 of them moving on the streets of Kumasi, right from the Abu Abu post office. They started milling around 6 a.m. and by 8 o'clock we set out through the principal streets of Alaba. We went to Alaba, went to Mensia Palace, past Mensia Palace to Ashtown, and then moved straight to Pampas to Kegitia, and then the Jubilee Park where they were addressed. Along the line, you had MPs who represented Al-Hassan Suhini was there, Okujetu Ablakwa. I also saw Muntaka Mubarak. Some of them I could remember sit on the ground, on the floor, together with the national executives of the party, wailing, yewu, yewu, yewu. Then occasionally they will move on ahead and continue with the demonstration. A lot of reaction from the crowd who have lined up on the buildings, tall buildings of the streets watching them, some of them doing the change sign along and corresponding with the people on the streets. Some of them also staying indifferent as if nothing is happening. At a point in time, some they were hailing insults at a point in time, and the crowd wanted to react, but the police prevented them. As I must say, it was largely peaceful, and they pressed home their message that they do not need a new register. They have far pressing issues that are affecting lives in Ghana, and so if the government has money, then they should channel it towards the needs of the people rather than going to areas that are not needed.
What more do we know about this decision to suspend the series of protests they had planned across the country?
So it was when we assembled at the Jubilee Park and they were addressing the crowd. First was Mr. Johnson Asidun Kitia, who made mention that indeed they respect the eminent chiefs, traditional leaders, the clergy, and other leading people in the country whom they have petitioned and spoken to advise the EC. And so they believe in them, they respect them, and so they are giving them 1 week to impress upon the EC to rescind this decision and consult more on this before they can continue. So they are suspending all demonstrations, looking up to the eminent group to do this for them.
What about the General Secretary of the NDC? He was there. What was he up to and what did he say?
Well, so he started with this whole suspension issue, and then he also, at a point in time, was talking about the fact that Ghanaians have sat too long for certain people to take hold of the country, people who are not listening to the people. It's high time that Ghanaians stood up for their rights, because after independence, the people who stood for their rights and made sure that the Ghanaians have the kind of freedom and democracy that we have today, it's up to us who are present today to also resist oppressors' rule and resist anything that will not inure to the benefit of the majority of Ghanaians. And so this is one of them, the voters register, and the current generation should resist the EC and make sure that their taxpayers' money is being put to good use.
Voters register na credible. Electoral committee na credible. So the issue of credibility is around electoral commission and not the voters register. I don't think sorry, because he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. I call no earlier. I sound sorry. Now Abakusa Akono. And this I call no go by Biao. And our limb air Uba Bakuno in the West form. After Yatua Baria. Atinyetem Abba, Nebia Yamen Fata Man Kokwati, Nebulet, air fly left, right, center. A honor who said, Udina Akono. Ebobia Messiah said, Yayana was dear Daniel Baye. Bisaho, Saudi media Nina Bisa Tedum Katia said, Electoral Committee CNTR, dear now Baya. The American say, Suma home. Jerusalem forma. Yes, you can't tell me that. Muslim Mama, Muslim Maunu Babia, and Tokwati. Naya talk a tour. Near Katra Bobano say, Aboba Ukui, for the regional secretary of a political party. Now, media party and Tomono, Uruya and Susano, Mativida.
Erastus?
Yeah, so basically what he's saying is that we should not wait for a conflict to erupt, a war, and at the time when bullets are flying in the course of an election, then we front. We should act today, and we must act now. And he was addressing the media, asking him that if the EC does not listen to you, what are you going to do? He says they should cry for themselves, and that we are all in this fight. We must come together and fight together and make sure that what we really need is totally represented. Basically, that's what he's been saying.
And I know the police had said that they were going to provide enough men, but they also warned against any disturbance. Suffice to say, today's program went on without any significant incident, but the security was pretty heavy on the ground from what I'm reading and watching.
I must say the police were very professional today. all the anti-riot police who were represented there fully clothed. They had their shields. None of the personnel who were there were holding any sort of weapon, rifles or anything. They flanked the crowd, and some of them were placed in the middle and behind and in front. And there were some in plain clothes who were also in the midst of the demonstrators. In fact, at a point where a scuffle nearly ensued, the police came in abruptly and blocked the protesters from veering off the course and going into confrontation with other people. And so that really helped a lot, and it won the admiration of Bernard Mona, who spoke to the crowd.
Grateful. That is my colleague Erasmus Saridonko there. Let's speak to the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mr. Otokuno, will join us shortly on this. We're waiting to hear from the Electoral Commission, also the Advisory Committee, when the plan is for a meeting that, in fact, they had asked the Electoral Commission to conduct with stakeholders. Already the Electoral Commission had met with civil society and media. The next big thing to do is to meet the political parties themselves, including the NDC. The EC has stated already that as far as they're concerned, compilation of the new voters register is a done deal. But what is the analysis that the NDC is doing themselves? Is this protest, today's protest and the other they've done before, is it an exercise in futility? And the suspension, are they really hopeful that it will achieve anything? We'll be speaking to the NDC. We'll also hear from the police in the Ashanti region. Stay with us.
Your success, our passion.
So how the thing end?
My God, so we video call like 2 minutes. Then now she say make I take over and meet them. But Charlie, as I hang up, we are Rexy, my data finish. See, I roam I no get data back. So after they come look for another phone.
Hey, my guy, hold up. You see why you for use Vodafone?
I be all be the same data.
Who tell you? Now with Vodafone, whether you get data or not, you go free use the Uber app with no data charges at all.
Hey, you sure?
Oh yeah. Now Vodafone the Uber partner. So even if you get data where you use the Uber app, they not tell you anything. Where if you don't get data safe, Charlie, you the free use the Uber app. Simple. No data matter bia. Where the be safe be say, as you the use the app, you the free get free ride. Where it come with some champion discount. You can now order your Uber ride at no data cost and stand a chance to enjoy free rides and amazing discounts. Switch to Vodafone today.
The future is exciting. Ready?
It's live here on Top Story on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top story is how the NDC, together with its partners, resisting the EC's plan to compile new voters register, tonight announced it is suspending their series of protests to give room for the advisory committee to get the EC to back down. We can now speak to Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Peter Tokuno. Mr. Tokuno, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Hello,
Mr. Tokuno.
You're welcome, Eva.
Thank you for your time here on Top Story. You were on the ground today, I'm setting.
Yes, sure.
What do you hope to achieve with this? Now that we've heard from the EC saying it is a done deal, is this an exercise in futility?
In fact, if the EC are saying that it's a done deal, then truly they do not know their work, they do not know their responsibility, they do not know the constitution that gives the power to them, and they do not know the power of the people. Because
the power of the people always reigns supreme. The interest of the people is a driving principle for every state institution. And for that matter, if the people are saying they do not need any new voter register, they should understand that they do not need a new voter register. The Electoral Commission are not running an apartment store where they sell tomato, coffee, and money, and they expect that they will be taking the business. The Electoral Commission is a state institution, and the trust is held in the people. The people are saying that we do not need a new voter register. We have a credible data. We have a credible register. If you have any problem with the system that runs the data, you can work on the data. You can work on the system, and change the system. You can improve the system. We do not care, but we cannot go through this cumbersome process of queuing at door to register again to vote in this year's election. Worst of it all, we cannot afford to lose our taxpayers' money, our hard-earned cash that we have contributed into the government office to run the affairs of the state on a needless register. The people are saying that we cannot sit down and not have water to drink. Then we'll go and waste close to $500 million on registering alone, not even the machines. We cannot sit down and have no light and have bad roads and have no hospital, but not have hospital beds and not have quality health care, and still go and waste money on this needless expedition.
Mr. Dokuno, I've heard today the national chairman announce that going forward you are suspending the further protest to allow the advisory committee to get the EC to consult further. What do you really hope to achieve with that one? I mean, what difference would that make?
Well, we believe that our public manifestations over the period, have made very loud statements that should be very, very clear to anybody who was doubting that the people's power was more supreme. So we think that at this point, with the good reason we are getting from a committee of eminent advisors to the EC, who have, decried the way the EC is handling the issues, and the fact that we have gotten other eminent people in society that we have petitioned, who have equally requested that we stay calm as they pursue an interest that they think that is a mass interest, it's an interest of the people, it's the popular interest. So we are very optimistic that with the kind of assurance that they have given us, that they are going to take steps to work it out and make sure that the interest of the masses prevail.
What assurance have they given you?
Well, I mean, from the statement from the eminent advisors who have requested that the EC rescinds from institution of running the Electoral Commission in an autocratic manner or a dictatorial manner and go back to IPAC and re-engage political parties. We think that is a welcoming news. And as part of our public manifestations in Asante region, we have equally petitioned the Asante who his chief of staff had admonished that we stay calm. They are very interested in this matter. They would want to bring some positive closer to this matter, and that they would want to intervene, but they will plead with us to remain calm. And so, with all this, goodwill assurances coming from this very eminent body, we are hopeful that we can hold our horses for at least a week while we wait for responses from the Electoral Commission.
Has the Electoral Commission reached out with a date for you to sit and talk yet?
Unfortunately, not. They have not been able to communicate to us. The impression we got last week was that we were going to get an emergency invitation for a meeting last Monday. It never came on. As you may be aware, we have not had an IPAC meeting for getting close to 2 months now, and the Electoral Commission, has decided to sideline and disregard IPAC. And I think that is one crucial matter that must be looked at moving forward. And perhaps maybe we should also be elevating the discussion and looking at what really the Electoral Commission stands for and how we can regulate the Electoral Commission itself so that it can perform the responsibilities and the services that they are meant to perform to the state. Because now it appears that Evans Mensah and a team of appointed PCs by the Akufo-Addo government are running the EC like a personal business, like a sole proprietor business. They make the business decisions and they don't care whose horse is God. And I think that is most unfortunate.
Let me ask you. You said at least you're giving yourself a week to see if all these eminent people and the EC will do the needful to sit and talk. What if at the end of that period you still haven't received or heard or haven't had your concerns addressed? What then happens? There's suspension to the series of protests and line activities you've lined up.
Evans, you don't need to be told of. You know obviously what will happen if we are not getting a positive response. Bear in mind that this resistance is not a resistance of any political party. It's a resistance of the people. It's a people's resistance. You have seen the civil societies, how they've come out very strong against how the ridiculous, explanations being given by the EC. A number of them, about almost 48 of them. You have seen how drivers are talking about this. You have seen how market women are talking about this. You have seen how hawkers are talking about this. Kayaye are talking about this. Every single person is talking about it. Journalists are even talking about it. And so this is a collective, civic resistance. And I think that, for anybody to underestimate this kind of resistance is for the person to risking, whatever response.
So I hear you say that if you don't get the results you hope for in the week, we're going to see you back with renewed resistance, as you've already indicated in the past. I think we've lost him there. Let's stay on the line. Let's see if we can get Godwin Ahianyo, who speaks for the Ashanti Regional Police. I think we've lost him too on the line. We'll try and get that clarity for you from the police going forward, and also the party, the NDC, where the others as well. We're still working to see if we can get some a view from the Electoral Commission when they hope to go forward with the consultations as directed by the advisory committee. When we get that, we'll bring that to you on Newsnight. Stay with us here on Joy 99.7 FM. Newsnight starts in 30 seconds.